How can you use science to build highly focused and productive teams? So the problem is clear. Teams are overloaded. Workloads are only increasing. They're finding it ever harder to prioritize the stuff that really matters and consequently spend much of their weeks reacting to their inboxes, to the next urgent task and the next busy meeting. So the solution to this is to use science to work smarter. And the very first step for that is goal orientation. So here are the 5 steps to take your teams through to help them become highly focused and productive. Right, the 5 steps to goal setting mastery. Number 1, start with long-term goals. This might seem a bit of a stretch and it might be tempting to start with your year goals, but the minute you create space for long-term thinking, you provoke a deeper level of inquiry. It's where things like values start to show themselves and people start to explore their learning goals and their growth goals, even their career development goals. And if you create the space for ambition, you'll soon realize that actually, over a long enough time horizon, people can achieve pretty amazing things. So begin the conversation with long-term goals, including both work and personal life. When you look 3 to 5 years ahead, what does amazing look like? Then, quarter goals. Sure, year goals are important, but year goals are always quite a long way away. And the fact is, most of us spend our life in busy days and busy weeks. Quarter goals are the things that make the real difference. So, as you help people set quarter goals, you'll notice an increase in clarity. Prioritization becomes a lot easier, and because the goal line is much more proximate, you start again to notice greater motivation, drive, and you're making more progress. The fact is, over 3 months, the progress you can make is substantial, but you need to start operating in 3-month cycles. So make sure all of your teams understand their 3 priority goals or projects for the next 3 months. No more than 3, and make sure each is very specific. Remember, if you have more than 3 priorities, you don't have any. Okay, the next step is to turn your goals into processes. It's no good understanding what you want to achieve if you don't spend the time turning it into, well, how am I going to get it done? So for all 3 of your quarter goals, your teams must turn them into either 5 main moves or 3 key habits. They are the formulas for success. So most goals are best turned into 5 main moves because most goals at work tend to have a characteristic of linear execution until there is this deadline that's complete. So for them, your team need to go, right, what are the 5 main moves that are going to take me from where I am to the completion of the goal? Once they've done that, they've got a roadmap. They've got a strategy. They've turned something complex and intangible into something very clear that they can start making progress on tomorrow. That formula, 5 main moves, will be applicable to about 70% of their goals. The remaining 30 instead need a slightly different approach, which is all about 3 key habits. This works for things like learning goals, also health and fitness, lifestyle goals. Generally, it's about identifying the core habits that will make the biggest difference and then doing those habits consistently. Every Thursday I will do this. Every other Tuesday I will do this. And over time, my goal will be achieved. Now, step 4 is the 80-20 analysis. Look, goal setting is all about becoming more effective and more outcome oriented. But real life is more than just single-minded pursuit of goals. You also need to get very good at prioritizing all the other stuff. And for that, the 80-20 analysis is a game changer. The 80-20 analysis goes as follows. 20% of everything you do at work generates 80% of your results, your value, your impact. Put another way, 20% of all of your work is really, really important. The other 80% just doesn't compare. So, a really important step in this goal setting system is not just about goal orientation in terms of my key projects, but to identify the other activities that just generate massive value. Things like planning, solving problems, improving systems and processes, nourishing relationships, one-to-ones, coaching, learning, right? So get your teams to do their own 80-20 analysis to identify the 20% of tasks and activities that they think generate the biggest return, the things that are truly important. Once you start identifying them and then prioritizing not just your 20%, but also these 5 main moves and 3 key habits, you have created a system that guarantees outcome orientation, effectiveness, and impact rather than just trying to get to the bottom of ever longer to-do lists. Step 5, 1 to 3 daily priorities. All of this strategic thinking and planning needs to end up in your calendar. And the most useful rule to guarantee success every single day is you plan 3 priorities every single day. Remember, if you have more than 3 priorities, you don't have any. That's true when you're planning your quarters, and it's true when you're planning your days. If you now start every day knowing your 1, 2, maximum 3 priorities, you will guarantee effective prioritization, you'll improve focus, and you'll improve your emotional relationship with work because, quite frankly, you'll be making more progress, you'll be experiencing greater impact, and you'll be getting this greater sense of meaning every single day. Okay, I hope that's useful. Goal setting's a funny one. When I work with businesses helping them implement work smarter science, I'm always struck with how people's general relationship to goal setting is a little bit, managers don't really make time for it. Individuals find it an exercise in setting KPIs and targets that isn't particularly engaging. And so consequently, goal setting has become this thing that most people would rather not do. Now, the reality is setting goals is not just the first step to working smarter. It's also a key ingredient in living an intentional life. But hopefully from this video, you can see that it involves so much more than just setting smart goals for the year. It involves and requires a system. These 5 steps will now help you and your team become more focused, become more productive, and ultimately become more outcome-oriented and effective. Okay, if it's been useful, share this video with your teams, save it for future reference, and get in touch if you'd like to discuss how to implement work smarter science into your team or business.